Good afternoon, friends. Welcome to Petty Talks TV. We are together again on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. I'm so happy to be with you to talk about pets, to talk about our problems with pets, and to brag about pets. If there are any issues you have about pets, let us know in the comments section. Petty Talks TV is your special place where we can just really belong to each other and enjoy the company of people that love pets. We are live on Facebook and YouTube on the first and third Saturday of the month at 5 p.m. So please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. My name is Tita Mee, shortcut for Tita Meow because I love cats. So what do we have in store for us today? We are going to talk about overcoming your fear of cats. I'm sure there are some of you that have encountered people that are really scared of cats, or maybe you yourself are scared of cats. So stick around and hopefully we'll be able to address some of those fears. But before we dive into that, I'd like to call on our anchor person, my resource anchor person, whom many of you know already. He's actually a certified IPDTA Canada dog trainer, none other than Coach O. Coach O. Coach O. Yes, Coach O is
You, kumusta?
Yes, Coach O, there you go. All right, Coach, kamusta na? Long time no see, no? Almost 2 weeks tayo, di ba?
Yeah,
Yeah.
oo, nalampasan natin ang Valentine's, hindi tayo
Oo,
makapag-air
oo nga,
nun, 'no?
pero nakita mo yung ano natin, our design now has bits of
Yes,
red.
that's right.
So
Oo nga, oo nga.
may Valentine ano pa
Mm,
effects pa, no? So
right.
Coach, what have you been busy with? I know last session it was about cats, and then today na naman about cats. So tell us a little something before we dive into our topic on overcoming fear of cats, and maybe that will apply to other fears also, fear of animals. Kwentuhan
Yeah,
mo
well,
kami, ano bang latest?
oo.
Alam ko meron kang inaayos this morning, yung dog, bike park ba to sa may CCF?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Every
oo. Yeah,
Saturday?
oo.
Yeah,
Yeah, every
tell us
Saturday
about that.
night. Yeah, actually, it's a simple bike park, yun nga, just across CCF to C5. And it's actually designed for newbie bikers. So maganda ron,
Okay.
it's a safe playing track for beginners and kids. Kaya you should try visiting the place. Pwede rin
Yeah, soon as
mag-run actually, yeah. Actually,
pwedeng
always pwede rin mag-run, magtakbo, and I also
Ah,
bring my dog there.
talaga?
Oo.
Oo, oo, oo. Si
Kaya
Moses, no?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Actually, Coach O, si Moses, madaming views nung ano mo nung naalala ko like over the holidays, Christmas
Mm,
vacation, you went to Baguio and sinama mo si Moses, di ba?
yeah.
Meron siyang ano nun, meron kayong, ano ba tawag doon, mountain trailing? Tama ba yung term ko doon? For,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were
yeah. Trail
biking
biking.
and then, yeah, kayang-kaya kang iwanan ni Moses.
Kayang-kaya talaga. Actually, pinaghahandaan kami ni Moses ngayon along with my students sa UP. Meron kasing event
Hmm.
on the 26th ng March. That's one.
Oh, wow.
Next month
Ano
is
to?
tawag nila Canicross. So basically running with your dog.
Uh-huh.
Just a trail.
Wow. Wow.
Around
So,
10-kilometer run.
wow,
Pero
that's a
takbo lang.
long run. Ano, coach? Natatawag talaga kitang doc. Coach, pwede nating i-cover ba yan live?
Yeah,
Anong
live.
oras yan?
I doubt you can have it live kasi walang signal doon, talagang bundok yun.
Ah,
But
sa
maybe I
UP.
can
Is it
take
gonna be
some,
in
yeah.
UP? Take
So,
video na lang,
no,
no? And then,
sa ano yan gagawin sa Montalban Rizal. Mhm.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. So we
sige.
can show some videos of that. So let's deep dive into our topic for today. This is actually a research from the Cleveland Clinic in Ohio, and they have many branches, actually 300 branches. And umpisahan ko na. Yan,
Mhm.
coach. So ako naman yung magkaka-separation anxiety. Chill ka lang, coach. I'll be the one Ako naman ngayon ang magtatrabaho. Okay, coach, see you in a bit. So yan, overcome your fear of cats. So maybe there are those of you who know people that are scared of cats. I actually know a number of them who, when they see cats on, outside, they really hide. They really refuse to go out. So we want to address that situation. So first of all, what is phobia? Phobia is actually a type of anxiety disorder. It involves excessive fear of an event or situation that won't necessarily cause harm in reality. Now, what is cat phobia? Cat phobia has a scientific name. It's called ailurophobia. There are other cat phobia names, but for today, let's stick to ailurophobia. What are the manifestations of cat phobia or ailurophobia? You feel anxious when you think about a cat, or when you see a cat, or even images of a cat, or even when you hear a cat, no, nanenervyos ka na. So is this a common thing? So, among the most common fears are fear of animals. Yan. Ako, honestly, I kind of fear dogs. Yan. That's why I'm a cat lover. So, and research has shown that fear of cats affects twice as much as many women as men. So mas double yung natatakot na women sa cats kesa sa men. All right. So what are the usual cat fears? So you know, those that fear cats usually fear being attacked or jumped on by a cat. They also fear coming across cats in public or private places. Let's say you go to the mall or you go to open spaces like in BGC, there are reputed many cats roaming around. So sometimes they fear those, or like sometimes you already fear going to a friend's house whom you know has a cat. So they also fear finding or touching cat's fur. Imagine just touching cat's fur, medyo na-anxious na sila. Another fear of them is that they think that cats have evil spells. They think that cats can cast an evil spell on you. This is because of watching or hearing about this in TV shows. They also fear seeing pictures of cats in books or even magazines and even online. So what are the possible causes? Bakit ba merong natatakot sa cats? Like many phobias, excuse me, like many phobias, cat phobia could be caused by traumatic experiences, traumatic events. These experiences related to cats may have attacked the person or maybe somebody. Sometimes it's not really the person per se, but hearing about stories of cats attacking other people, when you keep hearing that, you develop a phobia. So that goes to our second point of a possible cause, which is negative cat stories. You see, like I said earlier, cats are thought to be carriers of evil, especially during the Middle Ages. There are a lot of stories about cats. And I don't know if any of you know the story of the Salem Witch Trials. So that has really left an imprint to the minds of some people that cats are to be feared. Other causes may be family history. If you have a close relative or parent with a phobic or anxiety disorder. I know people also that are, like from one generation to another, fearful of cockroaches. Like so it's passed on. No? So that's to our fourth point, which is modeling. Modeling is seeing or hearing another talk about their fear. Now, like I said earlier, sometimes we just hear people talk about it. They're scared, and then they develop the same fear. I want to share with you a story that when I was many years ago, I never was scared of spiders. Well, I'd like to brag now that I've overcome that fear, but I saw this movie, and the first time I saw it, the girl was so scared of spiders, no? And I found it funny. But like after watching the movie twice or three times, mamaya natakot na rin ako sa spiders. So that's an example of modeling. And there are ways for us to be able to graduate from that. And we will talk about that in a short bit. So, what are the emotional symptoms of having fears or specifically fear of cats? Sometimes there's excessive thinking about how to avoid cats. You know, when you keep thinking about it, like when you know you're going to a friend's house, or you have to go to a certain store in a mall where you know that, oh, there's a cat there in the parking lot. You know, you go through the lengths of thinking how to avoid that cat. Another emotional symptom is extreme anxiety when you hear cat sounds, such as purring or hissing or even just meowing. And then another is fear of places where you may see a cat. So the fear of cats doesn't only produce emotional symptoms. There are also physical symptoms. You know, people that have extreme fears of cats or any other fears sometimes undergo dizziness, there's diarrhea, and then there's intense sweating or nausea or vomiting, and then there are panic attacks, and then there's rapid breathing and heart rate, you know, strong feeling of terror, intense muscles and trembling or shaking. These are basically, I may say, these are usual manifestations or symptoms of certain fears. No, it doesn't. You see, it doesn't just have to be a fear of animals or fear of cats. You know, are there any of you who fear going in front of people or going on stage? You know, sometimes you experience the same thing, right? Okay, if you've had that experience, share with us and type it on the chat box or on the comment section. So, diagnosis. You may have a specific phobic disorder if your fear of a cat occurs when you think about or see a cat. You know, when you think about cats or when you see cats, yeah. So this is a way to know, no? Like, do I have phobia already? Is it already phobia? And then if it also leads you to skip situations such as going outside or to a friend's house, you know, like when you're already avoiding places or avoiding people just so that you can avoid that certain thing, no? Like I said, doesn't have to be just cats. So also, it may result to your quick action, such as running away if you see a cat. So that's really so sad, no? Another is you start missing out on social events. You know, you don't go to parties anymore. Well, now we cannot go to parties yet because of our situation. But you know, there are moments really when these people who actually fear cats or even other animals or other things, they really miss out on social events. Another thing is like it can start affecting your ability to enjoy life. So that's really sad. That's why we want to bring this up, hoping that we can determine if you really have some kind of quote unquote phobia already. And then if also this fear triggers symptoms of anxiety or fear that don't match the actual danger. Sometimes we imagine the worst case scenario, but in reality, you know, like I want to share with you also that there was a video I saw by a foreign dog expert, and every time somebody would knock on the door, the dog would really bark. Talagang non-stop barking. But the young kid was so smart to recognize that actually it's the dog that was scared. And then the dog trainer said, "How do you know that the dog's scared?" And then the 10-year-old, give me a second. The sorry, Nalobat. The 10-year-old kid said, "I know the dog's very scared even if he's barking so wild, and I'm scared that he's barking at me, but I know that the dog is scared because every time I walk into the door, he backs away." So yun. So maybe our ideas or our imaginations are really not what's going on. For all we know, it's the pet or it's the animal that's actually scared of us, no? And then usually we can say that you have phobia when that fear lasts for at least 6 months. All right. So when you encounter situations like this, do not be ashamed to talk about it, to bring it out to the open. It's good to speak up and ask for help, like when you start feeling panic attacks or you persistently have anxiety that causes problems with daily life or sleeping. Yung hindi ka na makatulog, no? Na uh, nightmare ka na almost kakaisip no whatever thing it is that scares you. So when you do see a doctor or when you see a psychologist or a clinical therapist, you should have questions in your head, like you should know how long you will need therapy, and then you have to be able to determine what is causing this phobia. So you have to determine, is this only because I saw my cousin so scared of cats, or my classmate when way back when we were in elementary, so scared of cats. So it's important to know where it actually started. Because if you don't know it, it's difficult. So you have to be brought back to understanding where it really started. And then the next thing that you want to know from your doctor is what is the most effective treatment. Because different people, depending on the stage of their phobia, depending on the stage of their fear, have to be treated in different ways. So we are going to talk about quickly, very quickly, treatments. So there are several ways to treat your phobia for cats specifically. One is exposure therapy, another is behavioral therapy, and then the third is hypnotherapy. And then of course there's medications, and then there's yoga and meditation. Now, we will not go into that, but maybe we will have another session for the real treatments, and we will maybe invite a psychiatrist to do that. But like I said, our research is based on the studies of Cleveland Clinic, based in the US, with many branches, over 300 branches in the US and around the globe. So, but I'd like to talk about exposure therapy, because exposure therapy is something that you might be able to do on your own. This is where a mental health professional will introduce you to a situation and to images that may trigger your symptoms. So, and then they slowly help you to manage your response. Okay, so you're shown your images of what you fear, and then slowly they will help you to manage your response. The good thing is, 9 out of 10 people with such phobias see that their symptoms improve. Okay, they get better with this kind of therapy, which, by the way, is a talk therapy. So you are able to get over your fear by talking about it. So that is exposure therapy in a nutshell. So what actually happens when you do exposure therapy? So when you do exposure therapy, you are taught breathing and relaxation. Okay, because usually when you're really so scared and you go to see a doctor, the sight of a picture of a cat, or a situation, when you're made to envision a situation, you start not breathing. Diba? Usually that's not breathing is really sometimes a cause. It causes the whole body to react. So that's why there's always this practice that when you are tense, like when if you're going to talk to people, if you're going upstage, you do 10 deep breaths and relax, because it loosens up the system, no? So you are taught to learn breathing and relaxation, all right? So there are techniques that they will teach you during the exposure, and even before and during the exposure. And then what's next? They will show you pictures or videos of cats. All right. So once you're able to practice your breathing while looking at the cat or watching a video, breathe, relax. Eventually, you will graduate to practice holding a toy cat. Okay, so that's one of the next steps to exposure therapy. And then after practicing the touching of a toy cat, you will progress to being near a cat. Ayan, isasama na kayo to go out beside a cat. Of course, you're not gonna be left alone, di ba? Medyo scary siguro yon, but like they will help you with the aid of the therapist and some support from friends. they will allow you to go near a cat that's in a cage. And then eventually, again, with the support of the therapist, they will finally uh, help you to be able to touch a cat. Okay? Don't you think that's a very good progress already, no? Parang from being so scared with just pictures, and then to think that, hey, I don't have to be this scared, no, I can actually touch a cat now. That's really a good sign of development. And like I said, again, just a reminder that this is something that you might be able to do on your own, like get yourself accustomed to it. All right, so a neurophobia or cat phobia can impact your quality of life. You may avoid watching TV or movies, reduce time spent with friends and family, or not want to leave your house anymore. So, healthcare providers can help you overcome your fear of cats. So, all you gotta do is talk to your provider about treatments that can help you feel better about being around cats. So, to wrap everything up, first is those that fear cats, or if you know anyone that are fearful of cats or even dogs, or or things, snakes or whatever, or cockroaches, what you can do is realize that animal phobia, particularly for today, cat phobia, is common. This is common. It's one of the top phobias. Just like fear of heights. Yan yung pinaka most kinakatakutan ng tao. Animals and fear of heights. Madami daw yan. And then also realize that cat phobia can have many sources. Okay, often it's acquired from other people's experiences and stories without having real harm. Okay, because like as a cat lover, I know for sure that sometimes a cat can just scratch you, or not because they want to hurt you. It's just because that's their what do you call that? That's their natural ano bang tawag doon? That's their reflex. Like us, like humans, when we get surprised, we shout, diba? Parang, and there are people that get scared, or so it's the same thing. Animals have their own natural response or reflex, based on the stimulus around them. So sometimes natatakot lang tayo because nakita natin yung lolo natin takot, 'di ba? Or yung pinsan natin takot, nahawa na tayo. So you don't have to let this linger. Okay, so if you're experiencing this, wag na kayong magtiis. Talk about it, look for a therapist, and try to really overcome it. Because, to tell you guys, when I finally overcame the phobias I have, phobias of cockroach, phobia of, usual yan in our family. Pag may cockroach, nako, my relatives, they're all big and mighty. I have an uncle who fought a live eagle. One time he was studying in school in, I think that was San Beda, and the priest had an eagle, a real eagle, and nakawala. And he was able to subdue the eagle. He had wounds. Pero pag may lumipad na cockroach, tatakbo siya. So, di ba, that's so pathetic, di ba? So, we can also overcome such fears, all right? So, you're not alone. You can overcome this, and it's really very relieving if you're able to overcome your small petty fears, if it's not gonna be really naman dangerous to you. All right, and then there are also many treatments, and success rate is very high. So with that, I would like to call back our anchor resource person, Coach O, who is an expert with dogs, and also invite on the set our friend and tech volunteer Mia. Yan.
Hello, yeah.
Yan. So did you Mia, Coach O, 'di ba, like we were talking about parang masyado kong active ngayon, 'no? We were talking about phobia being applicable also to dogs. Coach O, as a dog expert, how do you also help others who are scared pagdating sa dogs? Yung personal experience mo as a dog trainer.
Uh, well, to be honest, wala pa akong consultations on that. Except, for
Yes.
example, one member of the household is fearful of dog. Tapos, all the rest are dog lovers. Tapos, merong isa na natatakot. Parang ganong
Yeah.
cases lang. Okay, so,
Okay.
yeah, okay. So, what I just, ang advice ko lang sa kanya, kasi when we talk about phobias, yung human mismo may phobia, it's not, hindi ko na yung line ng expertise, it's someone else's, siguro
Yeah.
is parang ganun. Pero at least I ask them to, introduce the dog slowly to that person, the member of the
Mm.
household. When I
Mm,
say
mm, mm.
introduce slowly, yun uh, siguro ang scenario like this, really cannot pinpoint one specific instant na may ganyan. Pero ang what I would do if that happens, okay, yun nga, I will, for example, meron tatlo, maybe it's nanay, tatay, and then kuya and ate. And for example, the ate is the bunso, okay? And the bunso is really scared of dogs, okay? But all the rest are they like that dog. Gusto nila yung aso, okay? So, ang unang gagawin siguro nila to introduce, okay? Maybe they have decided to get a dog when the ate is already around, sabihin na natin, 7 years old. Okay, so the
Mm.
dog, bago pa lang siya, okay? And they voted for a dog. So, kawawa naman si
Okay.
Bunso, no?
Okay. Takot siya, oo.
So, siyempre, to respect yung kanyang takot, bunso pa naman siya, di ba? So, I would discourage any close contact with the dog. So, sila-sila muna. Okay? Ganun lang
Mm.
muna. And then if, yun nga, sabi ko, slowly introduce. Maybe to introduce one person who is afraid of a dog or, or a cat for that matter.
Yes.
Siguro ano na lang, oo, yun na lang. So, tama yung sinasabi yung yung share mo kanina, about some exposure, pero limited lang. Maybe, kung hindi naman picture kasi nasa bahay na siya, pero may distance lagi, pag nandiyan yung aso, laging accompanied ng kuya or ng nanay. So, walang ganun. Until,
Mm.
siguro that bunso, will get to associate the dogs mo pala is hindi naman pala nakakatakot. And we can reverse that, Tita Mee, that was this modeling effect. Kasi namomodel naman ng kuya niya and the parents that, they're enjoying the dog. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Si Mia. Nalilito kasi ako sa Mia sa kami.
Pamilya tsaka si You know, coach, no, and tita May tuloy ako pala yun. Coach, coach and Mia, no. One of the sad things also is minsan, lalo na yung pagka pinapalaki lang sila ng house helper, di ba? Dali, medyo mainit na ngayon. Parang one of the sad things that's going on is sometimes yung mga helpers, no, or kahit sino, minsan ginagawa nilang panakot yun eh. Imagine, kahit sa butike, di ba? Lagot ka, kukainin ka ng butike, di ba? Di ba, Mia, na-experience mo ba yun? Mia, ikaw mag-share ka. Anong mga as
Ako naman kasi,
growing up, anong
uh,
kinatatakutan mo?
actually growing up, Tita Me, I have lot of dogs as in na kaya pero yun nga I just want to share na one time I was in our office and natapakan ko
Oh,
yung cat. Sabi ko, oops,
cat,
sorry,
cat.
ganyan. Ewan kung
Oh,
how did she react. So
oo.
yun. So tapos yun nga, sorry ako, ewan ko lang kung paano siya mag-reply.
Hindi
Pero
ba siya sumagot?
hindi. And anyway, and then, yun nga, that's why if I see cats or dog around, outside, kunwari sa mall, I'll just look at them lang, ganyan. I won't hurt them
Hmm,
naman or ano.
mm. Okay. Pero hindi ka nagka-phobia. That didn't cause
Hindi
you to,
naman, oo.
hindi naman. Okay, that's good. So in your family, wala din natatakot-takot?
Wala, kasi
Nobody's
sila
scared?
mismo recently, like yung eldest brother ko, she's she has a pet cat na now. Before ano tawag dito, she's a he's a dog lover kasi he's also selling Shih Tzu pets.
Mm-mm.
So, yun. Kumbaga, sa mga brother naman, they parang pet lover din sila. They have
Mm-mm.
their own dogs. But now, yung isang eldest brother ko, taking care taking care of the cats. But hindi ko pa nakikita.
Okay. So,
So,
thank you, Mia. Yun, so nakakatuwa naman na it's a good thing you did not encounter
yeah, I never
very
encountered any cat or dog phobia.
okay. So we have here a question actually. Let me show that. Yan. How to teach kids not to be scared of pets? Ayan. Sino who can answer that? Coach O? Ikaw, kasi you raised your family, Coach O, with a lot of pets. So how is it that like sila Gab, your children, hindi sila takot sa dog?
I think I think generally children are really, you know, animal lovers.
Oh,
Okay?
really?
So I think
Okay.
that's ano na yun, kumbaga, not natural na sa atin yun eh.
Cute
Okay?
kasi, no? Especially pag maliit.
Yeah, yeah. Really, that's really true. Parang nakupitan sila. Parang yung creation, the way God has designed, young animals para talagang they are attractive enough for to be taken care of. Okay. Now, kung sakali naman na some dogs, kasi tanong dito, no? Parang ang premise, takot na talaga yung aso. Okay. Ay,
Oo.
sorry. Takot na talaga
Yun
yung
lang.
children. Oo, sa mga pusa or aso. I think, then babalik tayo sa sinabi mo kanina na modeling. I
Right.
think, especially their children, di ba? So, wala ka talagang best na tool to educate a child but to model. And I think that's
Mm-mm.
at the end of the show, maybe that can be, sharing natin, how to model to younger generation if you want them to
Yes.
to grow up, with good moral standards and, fear of God. So yung
Yan.
modeling
So,
siguro.
correct, Coach O. So, we will have tip talk with you later, ah. Thanks for bringing that
Naku,
up.
patay. No?
Patay ka. So, teka, meron isang question dito, no? Okay. What if I had a real bad experience? Ayan. So, ako naman, I will answer that. If you had a real bad experience, syempre, like we said earlier, no, like the exposure therapy is something that you can try to do on your own, no? Because it's just talking. So it's like um, telling yourself, exposing yourself visually, to the things that you are scared of, you know, uh, expose yourself to the nice things, do not expose yourself to, let's say, takot ka na nga sa cats, and then you're gonna look at pictures na, kinagat ng cat or whatever. It's not gonna help you. So you have to slowly expose yourself. Now, if you had a real bad experience and there's a real trauma, that's when and then it's really affecting you. Like, let's say you just got attacked by a vicious dog or cat or whatever animal it was. You know, we really have to address this because Coach O and Mia, the thing about traumatic experiences is when we push them back in our subconscious, they eventually resurface, di ba? We learned this in Glorious Hope, no? This was a program we did in CCF, that the traumatic experiences we had when we were children many years ago. Sometimes we don't even realize the impact of these experiences. So when you had a real bad experience with an animal or anything, like, um do not what call this, do not shy away from seeking professional help, especially if it is causing you to already live in a not normal way, like Sometimes your behavior, you are ano ba yun? If you're uh, volatile or you are violent because you have a fear inside you. So we have to not be shy about letting people know, especially the professionals, that we have uh, such bad experiences. That's why we're talking about this today, because we want to be able to just enjoy our environment, to enjoy pets, and we have to be able to isolate those past experiences as things that happened in the past. So this is a process. It's no overnight thing. And if you really had a bad experience before, any bad experience, not I'm not only talking about cat phobia or dog phobia or any bad experience you had in the past. One way to really heal from it is to uh, go over it again. And you will need professional help for that. So I hope that answers the question of the person that asked about that. So is there any other tip? How about you, Coach O? Can you add to what I said about those that have had bad experiences? Ikaw, in your, have you, Coach, I understand before you said na you've been bitten by dogs already as a trainer. Hindi ka ba natakot because of those experiences? Didn't those cause you to be scared of them? How did you overcome?
Daming tanong, Parang
Dami-
tatlo yun. Hindi, well, yes, but that's true. Nakagat ako when I was siguro around uh, 10, maybe again when I was 12, and then another, hindi ko na maalala yung third. So, tatlong beses. And these
Tatlong beses
are,
na. Yung first was you were 10 years old.
around that
Ganon.
range.
Okay, bata
So,
pa. No?
pero yun nga, it's amazing na even with those bad experiences, hindi ako nagkaroon ng phobia. So I
Hmm.
still, I still love dogs. And, although
Mm-mm.
even now, trainer na ako, behavior. Pag lumalabas ako, I'm still really very careful sa street dogs.
Oh.
Or kahit hindi street dogs, yung mga, very, very, very careful lang ako. But I don't have
Mm.
that parang nakaka-paralyze na trauma na lumalayo ako sa kanila.
Mm.
And,
Mm. So you still take care pala. Hindi naman yung
of
parang
course,
reckless, no? Na
oo,
ano,
kasi hindi naman tayo, kumbaga
Superman.
Superman. Yes, oo, di ba? Hindi mo masasabi eh.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I remember hearing before that, when usually when you're in the park, di ba? Like sometimes the kids nakukyutan sila sa animal, tapos they'll really, squeeze the tail or the paw, ganun. And I heard that, is it true that you just don't tap, like pat, not tap, pet pat a dog, parang you have to ask the owner. Kasi is that true? Is that something that
Mm-mm.
you practice
Correct.
personally? Okay.
Yeah, correct. We really, actually, we have to discourage people from, touching someone else's dog, kahit cute
Okay.
pa to. And
Mm-mm.
it's also actually unethical to do that. So, kailangan magpaalam ka
Okay.
muna. Oo, in some cultures, talagang medyo offensive yun yung aanuhin mo yung pet nila. Parang turing. Para mo na rin hinawakan sila or isang anak nila, parang ganun. And more than the ethical part, akin is safety. Really, no, you don't really know what's going inside the dog. Miss cute na cute pa siya eh. Hindi mo alam.
Mm-mm.
You touch uh, some part of the dog's body na very sensitive siya. So, for example, the
Mm-mm.
hind leg. And hindi mo
Mm.
alam na, bigla ka na lang. Yun nga, sabi mo kanina, reflex. Bigla ka na lang tinagal
Mm-mm.
dahil doon.
Reflex.
So we don't really encourage people to kahit makita sila. Magsalita ka na lang, ay, ang cute, ganun na lang. Huwag mo na lang
Oo.
hawakan.
Actually, to your point, Coach, so I remember, no, when I used to have a cat, my cat's name was Basket. I would really stroke him on the head. Gustong-gusto talaga niya. Pero pag yung kamay ko umabot na sa likod ng, like towards his tail, ano na yan, he's gonna react differently. Parang tumataas yung, like, I caress him like that. Gustong-gusto niya, pag sa ulo hanggang sa ibabaw ng batok. But once my hand goes towards his tail, nakikita ko nagte-tense yung muscles niya. I don't know if that's true for other cats or it's just the behavior of my specific cat. Pero to your point, animals have their own sensitive areas din siguro parang tao, 'di ba? Malakas ang kiliti mo sa elbow o kaya so siguro may mga ganon. So they have their own reflex, no? Reflex. So okay, so Coach O, siguro like I think it's time now to wrap up and you were talking about modeling, right? Modeling. So encourage us with how our lesson on modeling fear can be used on the positive side of modeling naman to people, 'di ba? Modeling to people. Kasi alam ko ano ka, you're a very good father figure. So, yan. Ano ba yung mga ano mo? Can you give us some tips on how to just a few lines on
Yeah.
what how you model good
Mm-mm.
behavior.
Yeah, okay.
Yan.
So
So,
actually what I have in mind is nakamute ba ako? Hindi naman, okay. What I have in mind actually is wow, may ganito na tayo, TikTok. Is a very popular verse found in Proverbs. Okay, na ang sabi niya is, train up a child in the way that he should go, even when he's old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. So, well, kasi nga nabanggit natin yung about modeling. Okay, if you want to teach uh, children or mga youth, okay, na to love animals or not to be afraid of them, whether they are cats, dogs, or even ano pang animals yun. Okay, the best way to teach them is by modeling. Huwag tayong pakita natatakot sa kanila. Okay, so now, i-translate natin ito sa totoong buhay. Okay, so modeling, okay, especially to children, okay, is very important. Hindi mo lang sila, when you try to train them or to teach them good values or biblical principles or God's laws, okay, hindi mo lang talaga sila matuturo yan ng sinasabi mo siya. Okay, we have to model them. Okay, we have to teach them, we have to show them that this is how you behave, this in public, this is how you treat other people. Yeah, so, and I think ang maganda dito, again, actually the verse not about modeling. It's more on, it's more on teaching children, okay, at a young age. Kasi I think it applies to all animals, hindi lang dogs. Okay, when you teach, we want to train animals. Okay, it's always the best to train them when they are still young. Okay, so kaya mabuti rin tayo bilang parents, no. It's really the best time to teach our children when they are, nasa window sila ng they absorb everything. Okay, so I'm happy that marami ng parents nga na very intentional. They're trying to to instill uh, God's biblical truths sa mga anak nila, because it's you know it's the best way to to raise up your children. Okay, and if you have heard about that sad news in Canada when they have passed, I think just 2 weeks ago, yung tawag nila C4, what's this? C4 law yata in Canada. So, to uh, teach Bible, okay, first, conversion, okay, about teaching the Christian values to the children, para pinagbabawal na yan, because when you introduce Christian values, biblical principles, you're practically teaching the children to, para what's this, to reject, uh, the how do I put this, that parang hanapin yung word para wag maging offensive, but God's truth are the gospel is actually offensive. Yeah. So I'll say it anyway. Okay. So when you tell your children about the Bible, you're actually telling them, to reject, LGBTQ principle because it's not biblical, parang ganun. So yun dun lumabas yung C4. So I'm saying this because kasi nga in Canada, you're not allowed to do that anymore. Pag tinuro mo yan sa mga bata, they have the freedom to choose whether kung ano yung preference nila sa sexuality. Of course, we know that's unbiblical. Okay? But here, habang nandito pa tayo, we have this opportunity to teach our children, okay, God's design for marriage, and that is male and female only, and we should start it young. Okay, wow, super off topic yata ako dun, pero doon ako dinala eh. So, back to you, Tita. Tita Me.
Ayan. So, ang ganda-ganda naman ng sinabi mo, on the spot yon, 'di ba? Walang preparation. So, talagang speaking from the heart si Coach O. Yan. So, sabing gano'n, out of the abundance of your heart, the mouth flows. So, if you really have the love of the Lord in your heart and you are put in a corner, if you're put on the spot, yan ang lalabas sa atin. So, it's a sad thing na, no? Yung what's happening to actually that's spreading quietly, 'di ba, in the world that ayun, our values are really becoming, sad to say, questionable. We don't have anything against the people, but like ganon. I think it's just our duty also to really just uh, call right according to the Bible, and like this is what we're here for. This is what we're doing. So, ayun, but we love everybody. We love everybody, and sabi nga ganyan, love the person, even if the person, to your knowledge, doesn't really totally do something that's right, kahit na niloloko ka, dinadaya ka, kahit anong gawin sa inyo na it's talagang it really takes a lot that we just have to show love. O, di ba Valentine spirit pa rin yan, Coach? Okay, so with that, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. We hope that you picked up something. We hope that when you go to bed tonight, you'll think of yourself as, ano bang kinakatakutan ko? Kailangan ko ba itong katakutan? Hindi naman yata. So try to address it, and at the end of the day, rest assured that God is in control. And when you put all your faith in the Lord and you really call upon His name, you will have peace and you will be able to conquer. You just have to trust and pray. So we would like to thank everybody, and we hope you like and subscribe our Facebook page, and Coach O, the
And
other half.
subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Okay, bye bye everybody. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.